Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to go over all the exhaust clips, how I feel about it, the value of everything, and ease of install, because sometimes not everything is so cut and dry. Now, today's video is also sponsored by Sniffforwhipz. So they provide all sorts of cool air freshener smells, and they've been a huge supporter of the channel for a long time. So, check them out. You get 10% off your first order, and the link in the promo code is in the description below. Let's get this video started, and I'll talk to you guys in a minute. Here we go, guys. Alright, so let's start with the HKS piece. HKS piece was pretty easy to install. Something I should have paid attention to was they included a bracket. Now the bracket itself sits right next to the exhaust, right above it. There's two holes already bolted for the car or threaded into the car. So you mount that little bracket, it bolts right up, and then you put the provided exhaust hanger that they provide, or the dampener, and you put that on the HKS and the new piece. Now, I didn't see the bracket when I first went through the unboxing, and so I assumed they just gave me a replacement, isolator. Wasn't really paying attention. I cut off the factory one because it was not budging. I tried everything, and I just got the scissors out. After I put everything together, I realized I was short an exhaust hanger because I just cut it. I had to go up to the local AutoZone, bought a new isolator for a few bucks, and it was good. So that was my fault. Pay attention, I guess. When you're unboxing stuff, I should have done that. So that was my fault, and I guess I paid the price for it. Not mad, though. Alright, so the next one we installed was the Tsudo header and the high flow S-pipe. Now, the factory header has the catalytic converter built into that. And then the S pipe is just a bent pipe shaped like an S. That's where it gets the name from. The Tsudo header and pipe, what they did was they took out the cat there. So it's a high flow head, and then the S pipe actually has a high flow cat. So the cat's about, I would say, close to a third of the size of the factory one. And I mean, the quality on the pipe was amazing. Absolutely nothing weird, no dents, no bad weld jobs, no. I mean, it was a really nice piece, and I'm really happy that I went with it. Install quality or install difficulty is easy, but the difficult part is actually taking off the factory header. And as I mentioned in one of my videos before, the factory header, it's not the flange for the exhaust where it mounts to the head. It's not a flat flange. It's like casted, so it kind of has this lip around the edge, and that lip itself actually prevents you from taking off the head with a ratchet and socket and ratchet, or a ratcheting wrench, anything of that matter. So you're supposed to just take a regular wrench and just go at it. What I think you're supposed to technically do is take off your serpentine belt and lower the alternator, and that way you can actually use like a socket and wrench. Now, I don't know about you, but I didn't want to spend time to go find the tool to release the tension or anything like that to take the serpentine belt off for one bolt. I wish I would have known that before I did the install, because I probably would have figured out how to do that efficiently. But by the time I got that far, my phone already died. I was already frustrated. So I just took a chisel to that last nut, took a hammer to it, and slowly but surely I worked on cracking the nut and then, shredding it away. Now I didn't want to put too much, weight and too much damage onto the stud because I didn't want to damage it. So I made sure to move around and peel it back slowly, and it worked just fine. Once I get the new header installed, I was able to put a new nut that was provided, and it went on just fine, tightened up just fine, no issues. And of course, the factory header, it's just part of the process, I guess. Wrapping the header wasn't too difficult. That was my first time wrapping a header too, so I really was kind of nervous. I was like, man, I don't want to mess this up. I don't want to look sloppy. It has like that fiberglass kind of material, so I didn't want to get too itchy or get sick. I hear stories about people inhaling fiberglass and getting really sick. So I just tried my best, and part of the packaging that came with the lava wrap, it says to soak it in water, and that's why in that video I did that. I thought it was weird, but if the manufacturer says to do it, I'm gonna do what they say. They know their product better than I do. Alright, the DNA motoring. That exhaust kit was the final and last piece that we got. My basic concerns with the kit was the hardware. They actually sent me a kit with way more hardware than we needed. The only thing I needed was the exhaust gaskets and bolts, and they sent me bolts that were 8 inches long. And I don't know why I needed bolts that were 8 inches long, because even the factory bolts weren't that length. And so I don't know why it was like that. There was a bunch of other exhaust gaskets that didn't mount up anywhere on the exhaust, and a bunch of small hardware. So I think what they probably did was they probably either put the wrong bag in my kit, or they just have a universal throw bag or go bag they just put in every kit, I guess. I don't know. The other issue that I had with it was the length of their pipes. Now, together, the resonator delete, or the scuba tank delete, and the mid pipe that follows all together is the same length as the factory pipes, but the mid pipe is longer, and then the DNA motoring scuba delete, that one is shorter than the factory. So I mean, that's where it compensates, right? One pipe is longer than the other, but the other one's shorter. Not sure why they did that, but because I didn't go with the DNA motoring kit because how loud the drone was with my setup, I have 2 factory pipes sold in the XP, and I wish I could have had the mid pipe and just got rid of the resonator and, you know, just have a higher flowing exhaust. So that part sucks, sorry. Install difficulty was not hard. It was just lining everything up and it installed just fine. I didn't have any issues with the bolt holes for the exhaust. The gaskets were fine quality, the hardware. I just used my factory stuff, so I didn't want to use their hardware because I already knew it was a cheap kit. I didn't want to be down the road and, you know, my bolts get rusted or heat up and snap off and I got a mid pipe floating down the road. I'm not trying to do that. So overall, if you want the DNA motoring, basically catback is what it effectively is. If you want it, let me know. I prefer local pickup. I'll get rid of it for like 75 bucks. I don't care. It was like 126 new. I had it installed on the car, and then the next morning I literally took it off. It just makes the car drone, kind of like, you know, the typical racer. Like you see a Honda Civic, and it sounds like they're doing 100, and they're in first gear doing 12. Like it's way too loud. The video clip doesn't give it justice. The video clip actually makes it sound really good, and that's why I wanted a resonator delete. But for the XB, I don't think it works. What I think I have to do, since I have a high flow header and a high flow S pipe and all that, I think I need to go with a bigger resonator than the DNA one, but smaller than factory, or go with a glass pack. I'm gonna have to look into that. I don't know what that's gonna cost or what I should do, but I'm still doing research to find what piece will work for that. I might not do it at all and just keep the 2 pipes and just deal with it. The XB doesn't sound bad with the, you know, the Tsudo header and S pipe and the HKS piece. I mean, it doesn't sound half bad. So I might just keep it that way. All right, guys. Well, let me know below what exhaust clip was your favorite. Did you like the stock more? Do you prefer the HKS only? Just let me know. I'm just curious to see what everyone else's feedback is. And thanks again for the support. If you haven't subscribed, consider it. And like the video if you did. Leave comments and feedback. That's how I grow this channel. And I'll see you guys next week for another video. Deuces, guys. Thanks a lot.